some time in the kitchen with Chef John Aluni at the Cutting Edge Classroom. Today's menu, well, we're headed to Thailand for Thai street food. Chef, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do it.
My passion for cooking started back when I was like 3 years old. I'm an Italian, so I was raised in an Italian family. So you can imagine 20 people sitting around the table on a Sunday talking too loud and arguing over whose food's the best. And, that's how I started.
A start with food that's resulted in culinary education.
We started out teaching kids classes at the Carnes Community Club. And then we decided to get a brick and mortar and started classes here for kids. And that ended up changing to adult classes and kids classes. So now we do both, and parent-child classes, tons of adult classes and kids.
Teaching East Tennesseans the ins and outs of cooking in a hands-on way.
When it comes to cooking, hands-on is everything. That's how you're going to remember it. And there's also a lot of science involved in cooking. And, you could pull a recipe off Google and make it, and it might not come out the same every time, or it might not come out right, because you really have to be able to feel the food with your hands, smell it, see it. It's about your senses. And we show people how to take a recipe and make it their own. You just have to do it. So that's why hands-on is it.
Where hands-on learning meets team building and fellowship. The best thing about Chef John's class is that you're truly building teamwork all while making great food. So let's get to it.
We're doing Thai cuisine, so we're going to do some Thai street food. Our menu kind of looks like this. We're doing fresh spring rolls, and this is a lot of hands-on and demonstration. We're making Thai chicken curry, Thai chicken wings, pad Thai, and coconut sticky rice with mango will be our dessert. So we've got a 5-course going on tonight, so it's going to be fun.
And you can always expect a 5-course meal at Chef's classes.
Expect to have a fun time. It's a very safe environment. It's good for anybody. So you could be, advanced to beginner to never step foot in the kitchen before. We know how to handle all that. But you're definitely going to have fun. You're going to eat really good food. We don't just do little tastings, so you get pretty much a meal with every class, unless it's a pastry or baking class, and you get a lot of sweets. You're going to see demonstrations from our chefs, and you're going to get to do it hands-on as well. So there's always a hands-on component. Some are more than others, but you'll definitely get your hands dirty and have a good time.
Having a good time with the Cutting Edge. The Cutting Edge Classroom is the perfect place to take cooking classes with your friends and family, have a date night with your loved ones, and just come out and have some truly delicious, great food. Whether it's cooking international dishes like Thai street food or Indian food, or maybe even taking a spin and trying out baking with cookies and cakes, Chef John Aluni truly does have the perfect place to learn it all. All you have to do is head to his website, cuttingedgeclassroom.com. And since we're making food, it's always a great time to come out and chow. We'll see y'all later.
She's messed up now because she's shown us she knows how to make that recipe. Now I'm going to make her do it for us.
We're going to hold her feet to the fire on that for sure.
we're spending some time in the kitchen with Chef John Aluni at the Cutting Edge Classroom. Today's menu, well, we're headed to Thailand for Thai street food. Chef, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do it.
My passion for cooking started back when I was like 3 years old. I'm an Italian, so I was raised in an Italian family. So you can imagine 20 people sitting around the table on a Sunday talking too loud and arguing over whose food's the best. And, that's how I started.
A start with food that's resulted in culinary education.
We started out teaching kids classes at the Carnes Community Club. And then we decided to get a brick and mortar and started classes here for kids. And that ended up changing to adult classes and kids classes. So now we do both, and parent-child classes, tons of adult classes, and kids.
Teaching East Tennesseans the ins and outs of cooking in a hands-on way.
When it comes to cooking, hands-on is everything. That's how you're going to remember it. And there's also a lot of science involved in cooking. And, you could pull a recipe off Google and make it, and it might not come out the same every time, or it might not come out right, because you really have to be able to feel the food with your hands, smell it, see it. It's about your senses. And we show people how to take a recipe and make it their own. You just have to do it. So that's why hands-on is it.
Where hands-on learning meets team building and fellowship. The best thing about Chef John's class is that you're truly building teamwork, all while making great food. So let's get to it.
We're doing Thai cuisine, so we're going to do some Thai street food. Our menu kind of looks like this. We're doing fresh spring rolls, and this is a lot of hands-on and demonstration. We're making Thai chicken curry, Thai chicken wings, pad Thai, and coconut sticky rice with mango will be our dessert. So we've got a 5-course going on tonight, so it's going to be fun.
And you can always expect a 5-course meal at Chef's classes.
Expect to have a fun time. It's a very safe environment. It's good for anybody. So you could be, advanced to beginner to never step foot in the kitchen before. We know how to handle all that. But you're definitely going to have fun. You're going to eat really good food. We don't just do little tastings, so you get pretty much a meal with every class, unless it's a pastry or baking class, and you get a lot of sweets. You're going to see demonstrations from our chefs, and you're going to get to do it hands-on as well. So there's always a hands-on component. Some are more than others, but you'll definitely get your hands dirty and have a good time.
Having a good time with the Cutting Edge. The Cutting Edge Classroom is the perfect place to take cooking classes with your friends and family, have a date night with your loved ones, and just come out and have some truly delicious, great food. Whether it's cooking international dishes like Thai street food or Indian food, or maybe even taking a spin and trying out baking with cookies and cakes, Chef John Aluni truly does have the perfect place to learn it all. All you have to do is head to his website, cuttingedgeclassroom.com. And since we're making food, it's always a great time to come out and chow. Ciao. We'll see y'all later.
She's messed up now because she's shown us she knows how to make that recipe. Now I'm going to make her do it for us.
We're going to hold her feet to the fire on that for sure.
Monday, we are spending some time in the kitchen with Chef John Aluni at the Cutting Edge Classroom. Today's menu, well, we're headed to Thailand for Thai street food. Chef, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do it.
My passion for cooking started back when I was like 3 years old. I'm an Italian, so I was raised in an Italian family. So you can imagine 20 people sitting around the table on a Sunday talking too loud and arguing over whose food's the best. And, that's how I started.
A start with food that's resulted in culinary education.
We started out teaching kids classes at the Carnes Community Club. And then we decided to get a brick and mortar and started classes here for kids. And that ended up changing to adult classes and kids classes. So now we do both, and parent-child classes, tons of adult classes and kids.
Teaching East Tennesseans the ins and outs of cooking in a hands-on way.
When it comes to cooking, hands-on is everything. That's how you're going to remember it. And there's also a lot of science involved in cooking. And, you could pull a recipe off Google and make it, and it might not come out the same every time, or it might not come out right, because you really have to be able to feel the food with your hands, smell it, see it. It's about your senses. And we show people how to take a recipe and make it their own. You just have to do it. So that's why hands-on is it.
Where hands-on learning meets team building and fellowship. The best thing about Chef John's class is that you're truly building teamwork all while making great food. So let's get to it.
We're doing Thai cuisine, so we're going to do some Thai street food. Our menu kind of looks like this. We're doing fresh spring rolls, and this is a lot of hands-on and demonstration. We're making Thai chicken curry, Thai chicken wings, pad Thai, and coconut sticky rice with mango will be our dessert. So we've got a 5-course going on tonight, so it's going to be fun.
And you can always expect a 5-course meal at Chef's classes.
Expect to have a fun time. It's a very safe environment. It's good for anybody. So you could be, advanced to beginner to never step foot in the kitchen before. We know how to handle all that. But you're definitely going to have fun. You're going to eat really good food. We don't just do little tastings, so you get pretty much a meal with every class, unless it's a pastry or baking class, and you get a lot of sweets. You're going to see demonstrations from our chefs, and you're going to get to do it hands-on as well. So there's always a hands-on component. Some are more than others, but you'll definitely get your hands dirty and have a good time.
Having a good time with the Cutting Edge. The Cutting Edge Classroom is the perfect place to take cooking classes with your friends and family, have a date night with your loved ones, and just come out and have some truly delicious, great food. Whether it's cooking international dishes like Thai street food or Indian food, or maybe even taking a spin and trying out baking with cookies and cakes, Chef John Aluni truly does have the perfect place to learn it all. All you have to do is head to his website, cuttingedgeclassroom.com. And since we're making food, it's always a great time to come out and chow. We'll see y'all later.
She's messed up now because she's shown us she knows how to make that recipe. Now I'm going to make her do it for us.
We're going to hold her feet to the fire on that for sure.
segment of Maker Monday, we are spending some time in the kitchen with Chef John Aluni at the Cutting Edge Classroom. Today's menu, well, we're headed to Thailand for Thai street food. Chef, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do it.
My passion for cooking started back when I was like 3 years old. I'm an Italian, so I was raised in an Italian family. So you can imagine 20 people sitting around the table on a Sunday talking too loud and arguing over whose food's the best. And, that's how I started.
A start with food that's resulted in culinary education.
We started out teaching kids classes at the Carnes Community Club. And then we decided to get a brick and mortar and started classes here for kids. And that ended up changing to adult classes and kids classes. So now we do both, and parent-child classes, tons of adult classes and kids.
Teaching East Tennesseans the ins and outs of cooking in a hands-on way.
When it comes to cooking, hands-on is everything. That's how you're going to remember it. And there's also a lot of science involved in cooking. And, you could pull a recipe off Google and make it, and it might not come out the same every time, or it might not come out right, because you really have to be able to feel the food with your hands, smell it, see it. It's about your senses. And we show people how to take a recipe and make it their own. You just have to do it. So that's why hands-on is it.
Where hands-on learning meets team building and fellowship. The best thing about Chef John's class is that you're truly building teamwork all while making great food. So let's get to it.
We're doing Thai cuisine, so we're going to do some Thai street food. Our menu kind of looks like this. We're doing fresh spring rolls, and this is a lot of hands-on and demonstration. We're making Thai chicken curry, Thai chicken wings, pad Thai, and coconut sticky rice with mango will be our dessert. So we've got a 5-course going on tonight, so it's going to be fun.
And you can always expect a 5-course meal at Chef's classes.
Expect to have a fun time. It's a very safe environment. It's good for anybody. So you could be, advanced to beginner to never step foot in the kitchen before. We know how to handle all that. But you're definitely going to have fun. You're going to eat really good food. We don't just do little tastings. So you get pretty much a meal with every class, unless it's a pastry or baking class and you get a lot of sweets. You're going to see demonstrations from our chefs, and you're going to get to do it hands-on as well. So there's always a hands-on component. Some are more than others, but you'll definitely get your hands dirty and have a good time.
Having a good time with the Cutting Edge. The Cutting Edge Classroom is the perfect place to take cooking classes with your friends and family, have a date night with your loved ones, and just come out and have some truly delicious, great food. Whether it's cooking international dishes like Thai street food or Indian food, or maybe even taking a spin and trying out baking with cookies and cakes, Chef John Aluni truly does have the perfect place to learn it all. All you have to do is head to his website, cuttingedgeclassroom.com. And since we're making food, it's always a great time to come out and chow. Ciao. We'll see y'all later.
She's messed up now because she's shown us she knows how to make that recipe. Now I'm going to make her do it for us.
We're going to hold her feet to the fire on that for sure.
Hey everybody, this is Paul with Elkmont Media. Thanks for joining us today. I got a couple more people coming in, and we're going to get started here in just a second. If you want to, this is a small group, so we have it where you can turn on your cameras to see each other and visit, and also your microphone. And so if you can hear me, there we go. There's Jacqueline. Hi, Jacqueline. Can you guys hear me okay?
Guys, yep.
Hey.
All right. All right. And so that way you guys can see each other. And if you have a question for Chef, you can just ask the question as we go through the class. There's a couple things. Let's see, I got a couple more people coming in. We got Karen, and I can't read the name. It looks like Letitia. There we go. And Jacqueline, how many do you think you're going to have on here today?
We have 16 signed up.
16. Okay. We got 9 logged in so far. Where are you guys from?
We're in North Carolina. Some of us, like maybe somebody's in Philly still.
Yep. Yeah, I'm in Philly.
Okay.
I'm in Nags Head, the Outer Banks.
Hey, Karen.
What part of North Carolina?
I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
And you guys are in Tennessee, correct?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we're in Knoxville. And it was 85 degrees here earlier today. Really
Wow.
nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it was nice here as well. I don't know about 85, but it was definitely warm. I'll take it. I love it.
One of our friends is going into labor in Knoxville right now.
Oh, boy.
Wow.
Yeah.
We'll give a few more seconds for people to get logged in, if that's okay. How's it look on? Okay. We have 9 on, 3 don't have their cameras on. Test your microphone real quick.
Test.
Sorry, I'm running around trying to make sure I have everything together.
That's okay. That's good. Yeah, one of the things that for the best experience for the class, it does help to have your ingredients measured out in advance, and also all the pre-prep that was mentioned in the recipes. That helps go through. As we go through this, if you have any questions for Chef John, just feel free to ask, or you can enter it into the chat. Also, if you need us to slow down or speed up, anything like that, just let us know as we go through this. This class is for you guys, and we want to make sure that everybody's on the same page.
You guys feel like you are prepared for your homework?
It's a little bit like that, yeah.
I didn't procrastinate, and I'm definitely not chopping up my vegetables as we speak.
Oh my gosh, like me neither.
It's okay, I won't tell Chef.
Yeah, I didn't hear that.
Is it okay if I like guess at some of these measurements?
That's the number one thing that makes people fall behind is the chopping of the vegetables.
It takes forever to chop vegetables.
Very fast. See them feverishly chopping vegetables now?
I'm trying to measure
It's all
out.
good. We'll take our time. We don't have a class after this, so we're good. All right, how many do we have on, Paul?
We have 9 on.
I had a few people message me they just needed to register and on the link to get
Okay.
John.
Yeah, I noticed this
Maybe we
morning.
better give them another 5 minutes or so.
That's fine. I think we'd all appreciate another 5 minutes to get ready.
Yeah, we should be able to wrap this one up pretty quick anyway. It's not too challenging, so we'll give them time to get logged on.
Is it okay if we substitute some ingredients?
Absolutely not. You have to do exactly what's on the recipe.
Whatever.
Of course.
I have no
You
idea.
can substitute whatever you want.
Nice.
You
I
make
have no
it the
idea
way
what-
you're going to like it.
Nice. So I don't know
You're
what
in the-
rice
you're in the
bran oil
comfort-
is. So I got some toasted sesame oil. I prefer it anyway.
That's fine. I don't have everything on the recipe either. So there you go.
Yes. Okay.
You could substitute at will. I want you to be able to enjoy it, and I didn't want anybody to have to stress out trying to find some of these ingredients. So yeah, don't worry about that at all. I'm not going to even be knowing it unless you tell me, which you did.
I'm just too honest.
The rice bran oil, that was one of those things that I could not find either. I don't use it very often. I'm just substituting olive oil for it.
I have
avocado oil, some other type.
oil. Ooh.
Yeah, that'll work. You'll be fine with that.
Avocado oil.
That's another one you could substitute. It's really good in these dishes, but you don't. Olive oil could be a substitute for all these oils.
Yeah, I have to do that.
Not a problem at all. Coconut oil, that's another good one you could use.
Ooh.
It's supposed to be on the healthier side of things, so you kind of want to stick to that theme. You go with the olive oil, stuff like that. I don't use canola oil or any of those. I just don't even have them in the kitchen. There's really no use for it for me. So I use olive oil for almost everything. If I'm doing Asian cuisine, I usually use something that's a little more neutral, peanut oil, that kind of thing.
I got a question. I'm assuming if I'm making 2 of one of those, I just double the ingredients.
Yep. It's a pretty big bowl. So if you double it, you're probably going to be feeding about 3 or 4 people.
Well, I think I quadrupled
it. Gets pretty big.
Sweet. Well,
that's good. Yeah, I mean they're good refrigerated, so they'll be good for a day or two. The greens will get a little weird after a while, but other than that, I mean they'll hold up. I'm doing the recipe because Paul's going to eat it. I have to feed him. He works for food. So.
I do.
Well, I got to pay him too. I think he should be paying me as much as he eats. But
it's true.
He disagrees with that. So make sure, just a heads up, make sure you have water on, and your oven should be on too. So you'll get your water hot because it can take 15-20 minutes for water to boil. So it doesn't have to be boiling, but I already heated mine up to simmer because then when we try to cook our veggies, we'll be standing waiting for water. So have that on, have your oven preheated, and you'll be good to go.
Is everybody familiar with?
Go ahead.
For the tofu dish, I don't think I need the oven on, do I?
You don't need the oven for the tofu.
Perfect.
You need the oven for the vegetables. So that'll be your sweet potato, chicken sweet potato chickpea bowl. We're going to do all of that stuff in the oven in steps. So you'll need your oven on. I think it has it at 400 degrees because we're going to cook it really fast. And you'll need a sheet pan to put your vegetables on, but we're not going to do them all at one time. That's one way of doing it. I try to do it. I try to write it so that you're not dirtying a bunch of pots and pans, and it's like step by step by step. So it's really easy to do at home. So that's the way we're going to do this one. So as long as your oven's hot and you got water on to boil the vegetables for the other one, you'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put a little more water in. Steamed out a little bit. I just have my water on low, and then I'll just crank it up and get it boiling right before we do it. Somebody say they were in Philadelphia?
That's me. I'm the lone Philly girl.
My hometown is Scranton, Pennsylvania.
You said Scranton?
Yep, Scranton. A little bit north.
A little bit.
Also, I think you guys should have your rice already cooked or cooking. That was part of the prep. Yep. And it could be
John, what was that one more time?
The rice. Make sure if you don't have your rice done, you have that going. This is the challenge of a virtual class. Like when we do them here, the class are 3 hours. So it's not an issue, but on a virtual class, these things that take time will make you fall back. And if somebody does fall behind, I mean, we have a video afterwards that we'll send out to you guys, or you can just complete it after the class. Some people just watch and then they make it at another time. So all those things are okay. So, you know, I'll try to take my time on it, but we are kind of up against the clock too. So, you know, but I think, you know, we did a Buddha Bowl class already, I think, Paul, right?
Yeah, we did.
Took all of an hour and a half.
Yeah, we used it all.
You know, if we run a little bit over, I'm not going to worry about it too much. Unless Paul wants to charge me extra, then I'm not going to do it. He won't do that. So how are we looking? How many do we have?
Still holding at 9.
9. What do you think, Jacqueline? You want to start or you want to wait a little bit?
Yeah,
longer?
let's get
Yeah,
started.
we can start.
I gotta feed little kids.
Yep, we're good. We're ready to
Yeah, I
go.
mean, if they come in late, I mean, they can either try to jump in or just watch, like I said, and then pull up the video if they need to and go back through it. So sorry everybody didn't show up. But
Real quick, is everybody familiar with how to use Zoom? Yes, thumbs up. Yeah, and to
Yeah,
get the
we
best
use
view
it.
of Chef John. Yeah,
We use it at the
yeah,
office.
good. So awesome. So to get the best view of Chef John, you know, just double click on the video and you can pin it and see him, and then you can switch back and forth to the gallery
Are
view.
we going to see them on this?
Right now, we're recording this, and so right now I have, this is the participant view, it's not the panelist view.
Okay.
So this is what's recording, but I can switch it to gallery whenever
So
you
if
want.
they need to ask questions, they're going to.
I'll switch it. Yeah, I can. I'll switch it back so you can see them.
Okay.
I can do that from
So
here.
you're going to be watching for questions.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right,
So we're
let's
good.
go ahead and get started then. So I'm John, as you probably already figured out, and this is the Cutting Edge Classroom in Knoxville. We've been around since 2016. We're just a small cooking school, you know, that employs about 4 or 5 people, and we have local chefs that teach classes as well. I teach a lot of them. Right now, I'm doing all the virtual classes. My background is I've been a chef for about 36 years. Done it all, you know. Most recently, I taught culinary arts at the University of Tennessee. I left there to open this school up back in 2016. Prior to that, I was an executive chef with Caesars. Did a lot of stuff. I lived in Miami for years, Florida, ran restaurants and nightclubs down there. So I've been doing quite a bit of stuff, and I've got a lot of experience under my belt. So I think you guys are in good hands. Like we said, you know, if you need more time or you're falling back, please let us know. You can interact through the chat function, I believe now, right, Paul? And then ask questions and stuff as well. So, and then we'll bring you up maybe in between the bowls and we can talk about them. We're going to try to make these look good as well as taste good, because that's one of the things, you know, with the Buddha Bowl is, you know, you want it to do both. So it should look appealing, it should taste good, and really it's a healthy alternative meal in a bowl. So it's got all your food groups basically in a bowl. And that's what they are. So that could be a lot of different things. You could substitute in and out proteins, vegetables. I mean, this is scratching the surface really on what you could do. These recipes are extremely simple. Like I boiled some eggs that I'm going to throw on one of them. So you can add and subtract as you want. You know, you can put fish on them, all kinds of stuff. So, and how they got their name basically is, this is a true story actually. Buddha, when he traveled, used to travel from town to town, and he would carry a bowl around with him, and all the farmers and peasants would toss something in the bowl. And then when he got to the, you know, to a certain point where the bowl was full, he'd sit down and eat it. And that's a Buddha bowl. So really, I'm not making this stuff up. That's what it is. So So anyway, that's its origin. But they're called a lot of different things, you know, protein bowls, you know, whatever you want to call it. But it's a meal in a bowl. So I think the first one we're going to do is let me think about this. I think we're going to go ahead and do the first recipe will be the chicken, sweet potato, and chickpea Buddha bowl. That's the one that's a little bit more labor intensive than the other one. So I think we'll do the other one last. So you're going to need your oven on for this one. You're also going to need a stove and saute pan to do the chickpeas. We're going to saute the chickpeas. It really makes them taste good, and it gives them a kind of a crunch and some spicy, a little bit of heat. And it just makes the whole bowl. And then I'm probably going to I might put eggs on it. I don't know, but I've got some chicken that I did. And I actually did it with a little bit of Cajun spice on it. But, you know, the recipe called for pulled chicken off of a rotisserie chicken. So, you know, I do that because you can just go buy one in the store, pull the chicken off it, and use that. So you really don't have to, you know, go cooking chicken if you don't need to. You can just get it in the store. So the first thing it says is 400 degrees on your oven. So that's where you should be. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my sweet potatoes. I didn't prep this stuff because I wanted you guys to see it. So, and this will give you time if you still need extra time. I'm going to go ahead and peel the sweet potato. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to dice it. I'm going to cut it into small pieces, kind of like give it a dice, because it'll cook a lot faster in the oven rather than, you know, having it or something like that and then cutting it up after. So, you know, we want to get it done. So I'm going to cut it into small pieces. And I have a sheet pan behind me all ready to go. I've got parchment paper on it. So I got it peeled. Get rid of all that out of the way. I always stay organized when I'm cooking. That speeds you up, keeps you from having accidents with the knife as well. So I'm going to cook all of this. I probably won't use it all in the bowl, but Paul and I will probably eat it. I love sweet potatoes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it right down the middle. Okay. Then I'm going to take it now that I have a flat surface. And I'm going to cut it into about 1/2 inch slices, 1/2 inch thick. Just like that. This is a good way to handle a sweet potato. Then I'm going to lay them out. And I'm going to cut them in half lengthwise. I'm setting myself up for a dice here. Okay. Same thing on these. Lay them out. Cut them in half. I'm trying to get them somewhat consistent in size so they all cook the same. And then I'm going to cross cut them like so. And if you have decent knife skills, you could blow through these things really quick. If you don't, give me a call and we'll do a virtual knife skills class. Or you could drive out and we'll do it live. Those are always fun. So I'm going to toss that on my sheet pan that I have right here. So I'm just deviating from the recipe a little bit. You know, it says skin side down and all that, but I'm just going to go ahead and do them like this because we want to get them done. Okay. Then I'm going to drizzle a little bit of olive oil over the top, like so. And I think I'm going to put a little bit of salt and pepper on them just because I think they need just a little bit. You could also, you know, do a turn on this and do them like fall flavors, nutmeg, cinnamon, that kind of thing. You can make them sweet. Then they're going to go into the 400-degree oven. I'm going to set the timer for about 7-8 minutes, and we'll check them at that time. They don't have to be done right away because the rest of the vegetables we're going to keep adding to it. So the next thing that's going to go on that pan, I believe, let me double check the recipe here. From oven, add the kale. Okay, so let's see, potatoes. Oh, then the broccolini is going to go next. Okay, and then it looks like the kale. Okay, so that's the order that it's going to go in. So I've got broccolini. I don't know if you guys could find it or not. It's really expensive too. I got this at Publix. Broccolini's nice. It's in the it's kind of immature broccoli. I'm just gonna leave it like that, but I'm gonna cut the stem off. What you can do too, if you want to keep this part, I'm not gonna bother with it tonight, but you could actually peel it with a vegetable peeler, just like asparagus. So if you don't want to waste it, just take a vegetable peeler and peel this part, and it'll cook a lot faster. You get that outside cellulose off it, and it'll cook pretty much the same time as the end will. So that's a little kind of cooking hack that I learned, a long time ago from a really good chef, to peel those ends so they cook the same time as this does. So there we go. I've got that ready. Throw the extras here. And then I'm also going to prep my kale. That's going to be the last thing to go on. So what I'm going to do with the kale, basically, I'm just going to take it off the stem. You could pull it off or cut it off. I'm just cutting it off. But I want to get this heavy stem off of it. Okay. And then I'm just going to give it a quick chop. We're not going to cook the kale a lot because, it gets like dry and like kale chips. And that's not really what we're looking for. We're just looking for warming it up for this dish. And all my vegetables have already been washed. You always want to do that. I'm just rough chopping it just like this. Not really small. Okay. So we've got our kale, got our broccolini. Let me double check my recipe, make sure I've got everything going on that I need to. Okay, so I have all my ingredients for the tahini sauce, a 1/4 cup of tahini. I've got my syrup, my maple syrup, which is really giving us kind of a fall feel to this one. I've got a fresh lemon here that I'm going to just squeeze out. And I've got some water that I'm going to mix in as well, just in case it needs it. We'll take a look at that. My chicken is already cooked. It's right here in a bowl. So I've got that. And then I've got my chickpeas with all my spices. So what I'm going to do, Paul, do you have the handheld so they can see what I'm doing here?
Yeah, we'll switch to it.
All right, so I'm just going to take it over to the sink here. I'm going to drain them out. I'm going to do the whole can. Rinse them in cold water. Get all that off of there. Drain a little bit. I'm going to set them there for a second because I want to get a bowl. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some paper towels in this bowl. I want to dry them off. And the reason I want to dry them is because things crisp up when you dry them. So steaks, seafood, vegetables, you don't want them moist when you saute them right away because that'll keep the outside from crisping up. And we really want that to happen. So I'm just going to pat them dry with the paper towel. Kind of move them around in there. Get some of that excess moisture off. That looks pretty good. Okay. So we've got our chickpeas ready. So I'm going to take my spices and I'm going to add them to the chickpeas. So I've got cumin, 1/2 teaspoon going in. I've got oregano, 1/4 teaspoon. I've got a 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric. I've got garlic. I use granulated. Chili powder. If you wanted to spice it up even more, oh, my garlic didn't come out of there. There we go. If you want to spice it up more, you could add some cayenne or red pepper flake to it. If you really want it to be a little bit spicy, that's okay. That's one of those things you can tweak if you like really hot, spicy stuff. Salt, pepper, so you can see what they look like. These are really good, guys. You're going to like these. I don't know, about an inch, quarter teaspoon salt. Almost the same with pepper. And there we are. We also need some onion. I almost forgot the onion, I think. So we should have some red onion. Let me see where that comes in. I'm probably going to throw that in at the same time as the broccolini. So we'll get that going in the oven as well. What I'm going to do is cut the top off. I'm going to cut it in half. And if you don't have red onion, you could use yellow onion, sweet, white onion. I mean, whatever you have. Shallots work really well too. They're kind of on the milder side. Or if you don't want to cook them, don't cook them. I mean, there's really no right or wrong with this stuff as long as it tastes good and you want it to kind of look good too. Now this says wedges, but I'm really just going to slice it because we're thinking time at this point. We need to get them done. So just like that. And notice I'm cutting them in the same size. When you want to be accurate so that they cook the same all the way through. So if you have one big, huge piece and then some smaller ones, the smaller ones are going to burn up on you. And the big, huge piece is going to be raw. So I'm moving my tahini and all my other ingredients for the sauce to the side. There's my timer on the sweet potatoes. So I'm going to move over to the oven. I'm going to take a look at them. And the best way to check vegetables is with a fork. So, you feel the resistance on it. So if it feels like it's starting to act like it wants to be soft, we're ready to go to the next step. So I'm going to kind of take these out so you can see them. They're still pretty hard. So I'm going to leave them in for a couple more minutes. We don't want to overcook the broccolini. So, and notice I have them on one side of the pan so I can fit the rest of the stuff on the other. So I'm going to stop here and ask if anybody has any questions. Is everybody doing okay? Paul, you can put them up on screen if you need to.
Those
you should also have a bowl.
So good. I'm sorry. I was just going to say they smell delicious.
And they're not even cooking yet, right? Or are you already cooking them?
No. I'm not cooking them yet.
Yeah, just raw. Wait till you start cooking those things. But you're also going to need a bowl. I like using, this one's a good size one. It's pretty big. You can probably feed 2 people off of this bad boy, but I like to make a big one and then you just kind of share it between 2 people, glass of wine, little intimate thing going on. But so I don't know, this is probably about a little over a quart, or you can make 2 small ones. Like I said, there is no right or wrong with this. It is what it is, and it's good warm. So right after we're done here, it's going to actually be a warm salad or a warm bowl, but it doesn't have to be. You could cool off all your ingredients, put it in the fridge, and just eat it the next day, and it's fine. I mean, it doesn't, that's another beauty, the beauty of these bowls is that, they're really good cold or hot. You're eating healthy. These are popular in the spring months. People are always asking me, hey, chef, do a Buddha bowl class, will you? If I did one now, nobody'd sign up for it. Like, you guys are it. So most people aren't thinking Buddha bowls right now. They're thinking cookies and cakes and macarons and, beef Wellington. So, but in January and February, when everybody packs on a few more pounds, they'll be thinking Buddha bowls. So that's when we get them. But yeah, these are, oh yeah, they smell great. I love chickpeas. I always have them in the fridge, throw them in my salad. I saute them in dishes. I use them in pasta dishes. I mean, they're just a really great thing to use. So, all right, I'm going to check this again. And, they're garbanzos, chickpeas, pretty much the same thing. So, all right, so what I'm doing is I'm doing the fork test here. I don't know if you guys can see this. Paul, can they see it? There you go. But my fork went right into the potato, but it's still hard. That's the test. So I got a lot of resistance. It's ready for the broccolini. So without burning myself here in my cutting board, I'm going to lay this on here. Can you get me on cutting board, Paul, or am I on cutting board? Right here. Okay, so broccolini's going on, and I think I'm going to throw the onions on too, because I really think they're going to cook about the same time. So I'm just laying them on there. I'm going to throw my onions. right on top. I'm going to spread them out a little bit and leave myself some room for the kale. Okay. Then some more olive oil. Or whatever you're using. A little salt, a little pepper. See how easy this is? Back in. I'm going to set the timer for about 6 minutes. So I got my kale ready. I got my chicken right here. Got my lemon. I think I'm going to go ahead and juice my lemon while I have a little time here. So let me grab my strainer. I'm going to do it over a strainer so I don't get seeds in it. Fresh lemon juice is the way to go, guys, if you have it. I have a juicer too. I just don't feel like cleaning that thing. It's a pain. So I'm just going to squeeze it with my hand. But comparison between fresh lemon juice or stuff you buy, you know, in the store on the shelf, it really makes night and day difference. So if you know, you saw how fast that was. So it doesn't take any extra work really, unless you're using a ton of lemon juice. There's really no reason to use that other stuff. You know, it comes out cloudy. It looks, I mean, this is nice and clear, flavorful. It's kind of like comparing fresh squeezed orange juice to the stuff you buy in the, you know, in the carton at Walmart. So go for fresh. It'll make your food taste so much better. And it'll excite you a lot better about eating something that's good for you. Because really that's what it is, you know, like the chickpeas, making them spicy, you know, giving them some texture when we saute them is going to make a big difference. So I think now what we're going to do, or what I'm going to do, if you guys want to follow along, is I'm going to go ahead and heat my saute pan up. So Paul, if you can put, huh? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, real quick comment. She said, I'm doing the tofu and I already started. LOL, my kids are going to chew their hands off soon. So.
Oh, okay. Well, that's all right. If you get ahead, that's fine. I'm just going to keep rolling the way I am. So what I'm going to do now is get the chickpeas going. So I've got my pan on. Paul's going to switch over to the stove. There it is. So I've got my pan right here, my saute pan heating up. I'm not adding the oil yet. Let it get hot. Peeking at my veggies because broccolini will burn quickly. I'm going to add my olive oil. Going to watch for it to shimmer a little bit. And then the chickpeas are going in. And we're almost at the end of this bowl. We're really close. I'm also going to make the tahini sauce really quick. So what I'm going to do is pour in my maple syrup, my tahini. I hope y'all found tahini. It's really good stuff. You know, it's just a paste made out of sesame seeds. It's kind of thick, this one. So I'm going to kind of use a fork, move it around. Then I'm going to put my vinegar, rice vinegar in, or water, I'm sorry. Not rice vinegar. What am I doing with rice vinegar? Where'd I get that from? And my lemon juice will go in next. There we go. And you could add as much lemon juice or as little as you want, depending upon what your taste is. I like lemon juice, so I love citrus. Citrus just brings out the flavor and everything. I'm going to taste it, see where it's at. That's really good. All right. Pan's getting too hot. I'm going to take it off here just a second. Add my peas. And I'm going to check my veggies. Oh, yeah, they're really close. So what I'm going to do is throw my kale on to the pan. That's what I'm doing here. A little bit more olive oil on the kale. There it is. Back into the oven to finish off. I love this process of just stacking. because it helps you to not overcook your stuff in the oven. They look a little dry, so I'm just going to hit it with a little more oil. Kale gets a bad rap, but it's really good. And those hardy greens are really good for you. But if you really totally hate kale, you could substitute it. You could use bok choy that you can find in a lot of stores. You could use romaine if you wanted to. I mean, you could roast romaine hearts, you know, any kind of hardy greens. All right, I'm going to give them a taste. They smell really awesome right now. Yum. And they're done. Shutting them off. So at this point, I'm really ready to build this bowl. Any questions? Pick my brain while you've got me here. Yeah, go ahead. Now, don't forget, you should have water hot for the next bowl. And that'll be the one with the tofu. No questions? Oh, everybody's up. Okay, we doing okay? Well, nobody looks stressed out. I don't hear any fire alarms going off. So I guess you guys did your homework. Because usually I see people scrambling, smoke flying. I had one guy in a New York apartment. There was a bunch of people from New York. You know, a New York apartment's like a closet. And his alarm kept going off because every time he used the stove, the thing would go off. I said, man, take that thing and unscrew it and put it out in the lobby somewhere until we're done. But it was funny. You just beep, 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 beep every couple seconds. And he's swearing, I'm not burning anything. I think he was, but you know. So I'm going to pull this stuff out of the oven. And I'm going to build this bowl real quick because I know you guys are starving to death. So we're going to get one of them done. And if you look at, get me on the cutting board, Paul, so they can see up close. I wanted to take a look at it. I'm going to shut this oven off too because I'm done with. So there they are. Let's see, this is kind of in the way, so I'm going to move it. Okay, perfect. Get my bowl. And since it's hot, I'm going to use a pair of tongs, which I have right here. Let me double check, make sure I've got everything I need. This one is, so the base of this one is your kale. The other one has the rice, right? So I'm just double checking, make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Okay, so kale. And it started to crisp up a little bit, so that's good. Just a little bit. You don't want it dry like kale chips, but there's the kale. Then I'm going to just lay my broccolini. Kind of like that. I'm putting it all on there. I don't know how much you guys have. Take my onion over here. Man, I don't know, Paul. I could have used more kale. It really shrunk on me, didn't it? It's like all bowl and no kale. That's not good. Sweet potatoes. Man, I love sweet potatoes. This is a season too. And don't think you have to make them sweet. You know, they're good sweet, but savory is great. I like just having them like this in the fridge. And then what I'll do is like I'll make bowls in the morning, like breakfast bowls, with the sweet potatoes as a base, and then saute an egg on it or put a poached egg on top and some sauteed mushrooms, you know, whatever you want to do. It's really delicious. Good thing to have. So, you know, don't be afraid to pre-roast vegetables and have them in your fridge and then utilize them. That's how you're going to eat vegetables. I tell people that all the time. You know, if you're going to cull them every time and cook them every time you want them, and it's not convenient, you're just going to go for a snack. It really, you know, something that might not be so great for you. So have them cooked and in your fridge and ready to go. Make it easy on yourself. Chicken. Am I forgetting anything, Paul? I think I got everything. Then the tahini sauce is going to go on it. Wow, that's a big one. Whew. Okay. Chickpeas. I'm just going to cut. Sauce. Probably get a spoon. I don't think a fork's going to work too good for this job. I'm not going to put a ton on. I'm just going to drizzle. Could always add more if you want it. A little bit of kale chip on top. And there it is. Buddha bowl, number 1. Looks good to me. What do you think, Paul? From the man that just said, why can't we do hamburgers? Put everybody up so I can see what they're. So did everybody get theirs? Anybody get theirs? I'd like to see them if you want to show them.
I have not built it yet, but everything's done.
Are we close? Do you need time?
I'm in the process of assembling.
Good. Then I'm going to slow down and start thinking about the next one. Set this one up here. Paul, shoot a close-up of it. I'm going to start getting myself cleaned up and ready for the next one. Well, that wasn't bad. It's only 6:45. We got lots of time. I think I'm going to cut my egg and put it on there because I forgot. Hold on, let me put the egg on there. There we go. I like paprika, a little smoked paprika on top. So now if you put that in front of somebody, they might eat it. You know, if you throw it all together and just haphazardly and toss it, I don't know, they might not. You want to try to make it look good. I taught culinary for many years, and, you know, we always taught that appearance is very important. So people would say, oh, but it's going to taste good. But if it doesn't look good, especially if you're in the business, but even at home, you know, take pride in what you're making. You're going to have a lot more fun cooking, and you're going to be, you know, you're gonna get a sense of pride by what you accomplished. Definitely don't want it to look like slop. There's days that I get that too because I'm just hungry and I need to get it over with. But for the most part, I always think appearance when I'm putting my plates together. So I'm thinking ahead on my next one. Just stuff over here. Recipe. Sesame tofu.
All right. I'm all done.
All right, let's see it.
Soft-boiled egg.
Oh man, that was good.
So good.
Oh, I'm a professional.
Oh, you did it. You did the egg.
Yeah, I ended up doing soft-boiled eggs instead of chicken.
I'm going to move so I can come over and see. That looks great. How'd you did something different with the sauce? What's that? Did you use like a ranch or blue cheese or something?
No, that's tahini. It's probably just the light. It's a lot. It's a lot thicker.
Yeah, it looks good. Very nice.
Yeah.
Good job. A+.
Thanks.
So how we all doing? Do you need a little more time yet, or are you ready to move on to the next one? You tell me. That looks great, Karen.
Here's mine. Good job, Karen.
Nice.
That was good.
That's good.
Very nice. You aced it. So if you're ready to move on to the next one, give me a thumbs up. If you're not, don't. I see some thumbs. It looks like everybody's ready pretty much. Okay, I don't want to rush you, so you can go ahead and kind of chow on that a little bit. Just make sure that your water's close to a boil. And I'm going to start cutting vegetables. Really, that's what I'm going to be doing right now. So these vegetables are going to be boiled, or you could steam them too if you want to, but in this case, we're boiling them. Then we're going to shock them in ice water. And what that does is not only does it stop the cooking process, but it also brings out the colors in vegetables when you do that. So you want to have a bowl of ice water if you don't already. Just rinsing them in cold water is not going to be the same thing. So I've got ice water here, and I'm just going to take I've got baby carrots. That's what I'm using. I'm just going to kind of cut them in half because these cook super fast. This is a little cheat. So you can do this. There's nothing wrong with it. Or just use carrots and peel them and go that route. They were on sale at the store, and that's what I do. I don't stare at a recipe and go, this is exactly what I've got to buy. I go to the store and see what I need or what looks good, and I buy that, and then I decide what I'm going to kind of do. So we do it, chefs do it opposite. We like to shop the food first and then come up with a recipe for it. So now I've got my cauliflower, and I'm just going to cut this into little florets. About that big, because I want them to cook pretty fast. So I'm going to try to get them all close to the same size so they cook the same way. Very important when you're cooking veggies. Okay. Got some broccoli here. Same thing. Cut it into florets. About like that size right there. And you always want to think about how your vegetables are going to cook too. These are all going to cook about the same time. That's why we're cutting the carrots smaller, because carrots will take more time than this stuff. But if you cut them a little bit smaller in size, they're going to cook a lot faster, and they'll kind of keep up with all this. So one thing won't get overcooked while the other one's raw. Red cabbage, just going to core it. I got some celery here too. So you get the idea. This could be Brussels sprouts, whatever you want to put in there. I'm going to kind of shred it. Like so. Okay. I think that's it, right, Paul? Is that it? So we've got, my celery right in front of me. I'm just going to cut this into kind of they call it a baton, a large julienne. Just like that. All right, that's all ready. It's going into the water. Just let me double check what I've got going on here. Yep, okay. Going in. So I've got my boiling water here. I'm going to toss my veggies in. What do I do with my scraper? Oh, there it is. I love these bench scrapers. They work great for moving food around, cutting out, cleaning off your cutting board, that kind of thing. Okay, so that's pretty. That's a nice medley of vegetables right there. I'm going to get them up to the simmer. They're not going to take long, just a few minutes, because really we want them to be a little bit on the crisp side. We do not want to overcook them, not for a Buddha bowl anyway. So they're not going to take long at all. I'm going to keep my eye on those, but I'm also going to prep the rest of my stuff. I've got my tofu here. This is firm tofu. It holds up best under sauteing. I've also got some fresh ginger. That's another one that's really important to make sure you use fresh. Dried ginger is nowhere near what this is, flavor-wise.
Dried ginger
I like to use a
is
spoon to peel. Yeah, very much. It's like, it has no use. I mean, I have it, but it really doesn't have that flavor at all. It's just totally not the right thing. And the reason I use a spoon is because you can get in all the little nooks and crannies and stuff with a spoon. We've got a little well, actually it's an Asian supermarket here in Knoxville. And I swear they guard the ginger like it's cash, you know. Big sign, do not break the ginger. I mean, the first time I went in there, I took a big piece of ginger and snapped a piece off. And man, I'll tell you, they swarmed on me like hornets. Those guys guard that ginger, like, don't do that, you know? So you really have to buy whatever's there, big or small. So, all right, it tells you to grate it, but I'm not going to worry about grating it. I'm just going to kind of mince it up. I'm not going to worry about using a knuckle buster is what I call it, because I always bust my knuckles with it. You could throw it in a food processor. Chop it up. Vegetables are simmering. That's what I want. Not a hard boil, just a simmer. Okay, so there's my ginger. Okay. Just checking my recipe. Now, the recipe called for wakame too. I couldn't really find any. You could use like, you know, just seaweed sheets like you would for sushi and stuff. Or I got some of the pickled seaweed, which is this one here. I'll move it over here where you can see it. You know, that you typically see on sushi. That's good on it too. So, you know, whatever you could find. They just didn't have it, you know, for whatever reason. And I couldn't get to the Asian market today to grab it. So I know they have it. And I didn't have any in-house. I guess I used it. Okay. Now you should have your rice cooked. Mine's in a rice cooker back here, nice and hot. That's ready to go. Vegetables are getting really close. Beautiful, really pretty. My cauliflower is turning purple from the cabbage, but that's okay. What I'm going to check is the carrot. That's ready. It's got a nice little crunch to it. So I'm going to come over to the sink. I don't know if Paul can get me over there or not. And I am going to strain them and then shock them in that ice water, get them cooled off. That'll stop the cooking process as well as help keep the color to the vegetables. Here we go, into the ice water. In there. There we go. Perfect. Beautiful. Okay. There it is. We'll need that strainer again, so I'm going to hang on to that. Okay. So the next step, these are cool. I'm going to go ahead and get my tofu going. So the way I'm going to cut this there's a couple different ways of doing this, but I'm going to take it and cut it in half all the way down the middle. Okay. And then I'm just going to cut triangles in it. I think that's enough. I'm going to hang on to that for another class. Then I've got white and black sesame seeds. Okay. I'm going to saute this in olive oil. So I'm going to start up my stove. Paul need to be on the, and I'm going to dip the tofu all the way around, including the sides, into the sesame seeds. Tofu can be pretty good if you make it right. You know, I'm also going to season it with salt and pepper after. You could marinate the tofu, like soak it in some type of a soy sauce based marinade with sesame oil and some other things, garlic, whatever you want. And that makes it taste good too. And then you could do the same thing. But the sesame seeds on the outside will give you a nice crust. So that's why I like sesame seeds on it, because tofu is rubbery, you know, and that's not really, at least in my opinion, the desired texture that I want on my food. So the sesame seeds will give you some crunch. And I like to get them on there and let them sit for a few minutes while the pan's heating up, just so they stick really good. And the black and white just look nice. So there's my tofu. I'm going to get this out of the way. Going to put some oil in my pan, which should be hot at this point. Yep. I'm going to go ahead and put my tofu in. While that's going, I'm going to clean up my cutting board. Sesame seeds have a way of getting all over the place. Okay.
Okay, Google. Broadcast, come downstairs for dinner, please.
Okay, broadcasting now.
Check them out. Getting nice and brown here. Gonna flip them over. It starts looking like it's dry a little bit. Just add a little more oil. I've also got a clove of garlic here I almost forgot about. So I'm gonna go ahead and peel this while I'm waiting, give it a chop. This is gonna be part of the flavoring for our vegetables, which we're gonna do next. So you will need another saute pan, or just wipe this one out that you're using. Looking good. I think I'm ready on this, so I'm pulling it out. Whoops. Oh, I lost my pan. But that never happens. Well, I got two pieces. Get rid of that. Didn't land on my foot, so I'm happy about that. Okay, so I've got my two pieces of tofu. What I'm going to do is get another pan, clean one. And I'm going to go ahead and get my vegetable seasoning ready. Wipe this out. That's the problem with these little burners. Sometimes the pan gets heavy on an end and it just kind of flips off of there. Okay, so got that clean. So now I've got another pan on. What I'm going to do is cook my ginger, my garlic. I've got my tamari, which is kind of it's soy sauce. It's made a little bit different and it's gluten-free. So if you have gluten allergies, it's definitely a good thing to use. I've got all that together. And that's going to be the flavoring for the vegetables. So basically you should have a pan that's big enough to get your vegetables in and all these other ingredients, you know, this stuff here to make the flavoring for you. I'm going to turn it on low. I'll be right back, guys. I'm just going to sweep up that little bit of stuff I spilled so I don't go ice skating on it. Clumsy me. There we go. Okay. Pan's getting hot. Got it. Okay, so I'm gonna add a little bit of oil. And I'm gonna go ahead and add my ginger and my garlic. I've also got bean sprouts here, and I've got pea sprouts actually, and some other sprouts. These are nice alfalfas. I love those. And some cashews that are going to go on top. Let's see if I could help, and let's see if I could do this without dropping the pan this time. You just want to get these a little bit soft, get them aromatic. Vinegar, tamari. Now, in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and strain out my vegetables. So I'm at the sink, getting the water out. Vegetables go in. Oh, yeah, they just barely fit in that pan. Look at the colors on that. Isn't that beautiful? Give them a toss. Paul, you upset that I lost 2 pieces of tofu?
No, I'm good.
I know he's not a huge fan, so it didn't break his heart at all. Getting all that flavor throughout the veggies. I'm going to taste one. Oh, man, that's good. Doesn't need salt, that's for sure. Just going to warm them up. They don't have to be blazing hot. That's it. Perfection. Okay. So at this point, I've also got some avocado here. So I think I'm going to cut that out. I just have one hanging out. So I'm going to put an avocado on there. Just because I really love avocado. These are left from a sushi class I did recently. Scoop it out. Slice it. Okay. I think we're ready to assemble. Okay, so I'm going to get some rice. And I used a rice cooker, and it's long grain rice. I love a rice cooker. I mean, that's, if you eat rice, get one. It's really so much easier than trying to boil rice. You know, it's really hard to burn it. It comes out perfect every time. It holds it warm. This was done a half hour ago, and it just kind of is just holding it. And I think I got too much. I'm going to take a little out. There we go. So got our rice, and you could use brown rice, any type of rice you want. I'm using long grain. You could use basmati rice, wherever you have in house. Okay. So vegetables. I'm going to lay them right across here. This should be a really pretty dish, too. I mean, the colors just pop on this one. Okay. Take the tofu. Just going to kind of set that on top. Some avocado to the side. Cashews, if you want them. A little bit of the seaweed. There's somebody getting ready to eat.
Oh yeah. Ooh, I wanted to show you my bowl.
Sprouts. Look at this thing. It's getting huge.
Bye.
It's like a little bird's nest on top there. And a little teeny bit of salt on top. And I'm going to put a little teeny bit of pepper. And I think that's it. That's the bowl. This one is definitely prettier than the other one because it's got so many different colors going on. And that is Buddha bowl number 2. Any questions? Comments? Are we already eating them? Do they taste good? Awesome. I like cashews, so there they go. So what do you think? Is this something you do at home? I'm going to set these two here just like
this
that.
was fun and easy to do.
Not difficult at all. Yep, when you're organized, you know. The chefs call it mise en place. It's a French term, means everything in its place or all in its place. So, you know, the main thing is with any cooking, you get all your ingredients together first. You know, you don't want to be chopping and dicing while you're cooking and stuff like that. Get it all ready. I use these plastic trays, are great. And get it all on there and then do your thing. And it'll be so much more pleasurable, faster, less cleanup, the whole 9 yards. So if cooking's not fun for you, I always tell people you're not doing something right. So, you know, be organized, have fun with it. And there it is. 2 beautiful bowls. I'm going to take a picture. This is Facebook material here. Tennesseans love this stuff, you know, shrimp and grits, you know, fried green tomatoes. Who wants that stuff when you could have this, you know? That was a joke. People in Tennessee don't want this. People in North Carolina and South Carolina want this, right? Asheville and those areas.
I'll take some fried green tomatoes. That sounds delicious.
Hey, I'm not giving them a bad name either. You know what? I'll take them too. We do a lot of Cajun cuisine here too. People love Cajun. Yeah, that's a nice picture. That looks really good. So there it is. I think everybody's busy eating. That's why they're not asking questions. They were well prepared. A lot of spoons going on. Well, I'm going to clean up a little bit. If you think of something you want to ask me, please let me know.
Chef John, what do you do in your knife class?
Knife skills, we teach. We start out by talking about the different types of knives, what the best knife is to use for, you know, the skill level you're at, as well as for the job you're doing. Then we show how to sharpen knives, and we use a whetstone, so we show how to do it kind of the right way. But we also show a couple different methods of sharpening, because that's one of the biggest things. You know, people use dull knives, they're very dangerous to use a dull knife, and it slows you down as well. And then, you know, we go on to talk about safety, how to use the claw, you know, hold your fingers correctly so you don't cut them. How to clean a knife, how to maintain it. And then we go through practicing cuts. So everybody gets to chop and dice, and, you know, we show how to use the rocking motion with the knife and all that. And then we finish up with a meal, and that's pretty much it. So it's like 2 hours of Knife Skills 101. And, you know, I love teaching that class because then people call me and they send me an email and go, you know what? That was the single best class I ever took in my life because it helped me so much in the kitchen. You know, that, you know, they're just thrilled that they were doing it wrong for so many years. And all of a sudden they found this wonderful way of speeding up their prep and making it easier for them and not cutting themselves. Save them a fortune in Band-Aids. So I hope that answered your question, probably more than you needed to know, but.
Nope, that was perfect. Thank you.
Sure.
And now I'm gonna go and eat. Good night, guys.
Geneva, good job.
Bye-bye. Nice to meet you. Well, if you guys have no more need for me, does anybody else have any more questions? Because if not, I could sign up. We could leave you guys up on the screen to talk to each other if you want and hang out for a while. Does anybody else have anything more for me?
This was wonderful. Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks. You guys are great. Thanks for being prepared. I mean, y'all were great. Usually throughout a class, everybody's like, slow down, you're going too fast, you're going too fast. So you guys were definitely prepared. And that makes it a lot more smooth. I don't know how we got done so early, but we did.
We're that
But
good.
anyway, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. This was fun. Nice meeting all of you.
Yeah, thanks, Chef John, and thanks, Paul. Thanks, everyone, for participating.
And thanks, Jackie.
Thanks, Jackie.
Sure.
Bye.
Our pleasure. Thank you. Bye, everybody. Be safe.